And today we're going to be doing a yoga practice that helps to support the knees, strengthening and improving range of motion in the knee joints and the structures around it. So in order to make that happen, you need to not just pay attention to the knee joint itself, but all the structures that support it. We're going to be strengthening the thigh, which is called the quadriceps, the outer thigh muscle, which is called the vastus lateralis, the inner thigh muscle called the vastus medialis, the hamstring muscles, the calf muscle or the gastrocnemius. We'll also be working the abductors and the adductors. Those are your hip flexors. So it's going to be the abductors that take your leg out to the side, abductors, and the adductors, adductors, that bring the leg toward the midline again. We're going to be doing isometric exercises, so please know that if your blood pressure is not under control, you should not be doing isometric exercises without the approval of your physician, because it can increase your blood pressure even more. The exercises that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing in two parts. These are first seated and then standing exercises in part one, and part two will be lying down on the mat doing other strengthening and stretching exercises as well. The things that you're going to need for this practice include a chair, a blanket on the chair, even more than one blanket should you need to be lifted up a little bit higher so that your hips and knees are in good alignment. Your knees should not be lifted above your hips in these exercises, but if your knees are a little bit below your hips because you're seated on additional chairs, that is okay. You'll also be needing, for part two and part one, a strap. You'll need a block or some books. And for part two, you'll need a tennis ball. And then if you have a small ball like this would be really helpful as well when we do one of the last exercises in our standing posture. Okay, so let's get started. Start by placing the block in front of you. Have that ready. And the first thing we're going to do is what's called acupressure Chinese medicine knee massage. And this comes from Lakshmi Arvolkar's chair yoga training that I took several years ago. So it's just going to be using just different acupressure points in the knee to help relieve any discomfort and just bring greater mobility to your knee. And the great thing about this practice is if your knees don't hurt, this will help to maintain your knee structure. So go ahead and do it anyway. So we're going to start by finding those rope, I'm going to put my foot up on a block, and we're going to find those ropey tendons underneath your knee, behind your knee. And you'll find two ropey tendons. I want you to start massaging those. And then continue massaging as you lift the leg and just swing the leg back and forth. Bring some playfulness into this. This should feel pretty good. Do that for as long as feels comfortable for you. And then lower the foot back down. And we're going to use the palms of our hands and rub them on the outside and inside edge of the knee. I'm actually going to extend my leg out just a little bit more to get more surface area. And just rub vigorously on both sides of the knee. This is creating friction and heat, circulation around that knee joint. This is also going to improve the strength of your arms because it takes a lot of effort to actually vigorously rub the sides of the knees. I can feel this in my biceps and triceps. Next thing we're going to do is going to pinch the outer edge of the patella. So imagine there's a ring around the kneecap or the patella, and you're simply going to pinch all the structure around the kneecap. And if your hands are having discomfort from arthritis, go ahead and use a ball. And you can just rub the ball around the knee joint. This can be really a much more comfortable alternative. Just go around both ways. And again, do this as long as it feels good. That's just going to get different acupressure points. The thing that follows that is some people might have some quadricep or patellar tendonitis that causes pain when you bend your knee or go up or down the steps. So with the quadricep tendonitis, it's a ropey or tape-like substance that feels like tape underneath your underneath your skin, on top of your kneecap, and at the end of the thigh. And you're gonna rub right to left. This is called a cross fiber massage on that tendon. And again, if the thumb or the hands are just not having it today, you can use a ball and just rub back and forth on that, across that tendon. And this can be done for up to 4 minutes on each tendon. After you've done that sufficiently to your, whatever works for you today, go ahead and do the one that's underneath the kneecap on top of the shin bone or the tibia. You'll feel that same ropey or tape-like structure that's meant to hold that kneecap in alignment. Sometimes the kneecap gets off of the groove that's kind of built in there for the kneecap to slide up and down a groove. And it can cause some pain. So you just want to massage back and forth, cross fiber massage going right to left, laterally to medially, back and forth, again up to 4 minutes. Once you have done that to your level of comfort, then go ahead and try to wiggle the kneecap. Some of us have so much fluid or crepitus or scar tissue under that kneecap that it doesn't move, but just see if you can encourage a little bit of freedom of movement. So the leg is really relaxed. My foot's up on a block and it's just really relaxed. Get a little bit of movement and then place one hand over top of the other on top of that kneecap and start to just rotate it in a circle, one direction, and then take it in the other direction as well. And again, there's no magic amount of time that you do this for. You just do it for as long as it feels good or comfortable, or you feel like you're making some progress. And then we'll go back to massaging those ropey tendons under the knee and lifting the knee and rocking swinging the leg side to side. And then something that just feels good to me is the same what we do with the foot massage. It's just give it a tap with all the muscles and structures of the calf. And then drum roll. And just waking up the nerve ending, getting circulation going. Take your knuckles and just rub them all around the structure of the knee. And then just notice how that leg feels compared to the other leg. Okay? And then we'll go to the other side. So placing the foot up on a block or on your books, find those ropey tendons underneath the knee. Start to massage those. Notice if there's any tightness or tenderness, discomfort. Once you lift that leg up, continue massaging, but rock that knee. Swing that leg side to side, forward to back. And lower that foot down, extend the leg to about a 45-degree angle, and with the palms of the hands, rub the outer and inner edges of the knee vigorously. This one feels the best for me. So this one I tend to do a little bit longer until my arms get tired. And then take your fingers and pinch around the edges of the patella, or use the ball if that feels better if your hands are hurting. Just give little pinches around the kneecap. And then your cross fiber massage, let the leg be relaxed, and take your thumb across right to left, laterally to medially, across the quadricep tendon, which is the end of the thigh bone, the top of the kneecap. So you're not on the kneecap, you're above it, and you'll find that tendon, you can feel it. And then do the patellar tendon as well. And remember, each of these are up to about 4 minutes, and you can do this massage a couple of times a day if it feels good. Find your leg nice and relaxed as you wiggle the kneecap back and forth and side to side, trying to get a little freedom of movement in that kneecap. And then placing one hand over top of the other, going in a circular motion, trying to get some freedom of movement in that kneecap, and then take it the other direction. Go back to massaging underneath the knee joint, lifting the leg, swinging it forward to back. is your acupressure knee massage to get yourself started. You can do this before and after this workout, okay? All right, first thing we're going to do is stretch the calf muscle before we get started. Sometimes some tightness in the calf muscle can cause some pulling on the knee joint. So we're just going to place the ball on the strap on the upper third of the foot, not in the arch, but right around the ball. Let the pinky toe have some space, and extend the leg as straight as possible. Hold on to the strap, and first thing we're going to do is just draw the toes towards the nose and start with a little stretch of that calf muscle. Just notice how that feels. And if it feels okay, then lift the leg, press out through the heel of the foot, and just get a nice stretch across the Achilles tendon and that calf muscle. So you're pulling gently with the strap, the toes towards the nose. The toes are lifted and spread. We're going to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. Our brain takes at least that much time to recognize that it's a stretch and not a torture. Release that, let it go, just pump the foot a little bit. Re-nourish all those tissues. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, draw those toes back toward the nose. Lift the leg no higher than the hip and press out through the heel of the foot. And just enjoy this stretch. Again, 20 to 30 seconds for each stretch. And we'll release that and go to the other side. So place the ball on the upper third of the foot, the strap on the upper third of the foot, and first just give it a little pull. As you press the thigh bone down towards the earth, that's going to help to straighten that knee and accentuate that stretch. And then as you're ready, go ahead and lift the foot up as you press out through the heel of the foot. Lift and spread the toes, nice easy hold on the strap. Use your breath, keep nourishing those tissues. Now I have what are called flexible flat feet. I have really, really high arches. I have foot problems, arthritis in my feet. Go ahead and release that. Pump the foot. Try to get a little more nourishment into that calf, and then lift the foot up again. Press out through the heel of the foot. Press the thigh bone down to the earth. So my podiatrist recommended that I not stretch my calf while I'm bearing weight on my feet, which is why this is a really good alternative. What happens when I stand on my high arches is because my muscles can't support the weight anymore, it flattens out my feet, and then my bones don't have freedom to move around as they should, and it creates spurs and arthritis in my feet. So I don't want to make that worse, so I do my calf stretches like this. And people with plantar fasciitis, this is a really good thing to do before you get out of bed to stretch that calf muscle so you can help to release some of that, that pain from plantar fasciitis when you take that first step out of bed. All right, so there's our calf stretch. And now we will do a little bit of strengthening of the vastus medialis, the inner thigh. So sit forward in your chair and place a block, a ball, or a pillow between your thighs and walk your feet as close to each other as they will allow. And begin to now just squeeze the block, pillow, or ball with your inner thigh muscle. So you're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And this whole knee work takes patience, all right? So you can't be moving through things really quickly in order to strengthen. You have to hold some of these strengthening. So I'm still holding, still squeezing, and then release. When you release, take a full breath in to re-nourish all those tissues. And as you exhale, go ahead and squeeze again. So you want to squeeze for, 10 to 20 seconds, 30 seconds if you can. Just hold on to that, try to strengthen that inner thigh muscle. And then when you are feeling fatigued, go ahead and release. Take a full breath in as you exhale, squeeze again, and try to build up to 2 or 3 sets of 8 of these if you can. And the beauty of this is it's also going to strengthen your pelvic floor muscles a little bit as well. All right, so squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And especially with the pelvic floor, the rest time is as important as the squeeze time. All right, so you're going to do a few of those, and then we'll just counter that by doing some of the vastus lateralis and get a little bit of the outside of the leg. So we're going to lift that leg up and see if we can just walk that leg, take advantage of being in the chair. So this is like fire hydrants. If you were on hands and knees and you were lifting the leg out to the side. That's going to help strengthen that outer structure of your hip. All right, so you can just imagine you're doing those fire hydrants. So see if you can do it without holding on. If you need a little support of the hands or a strap, go ahead and do that. See how slowly, if you can take it, maybe pause there for a moment, and use the strength of your inner thigh to bring the leg back in, so you're getting benefit from taking the leg out to the side, and then also really bringing mindfulness to the inner thigh as you draw that leg back in. So we're abducting, abducting, and adducting, drawing toward the midline. And then let's go to the other side. If you're having any pain or discomfort in your lower back, you want to rest yourself against the back of the chair so you take it out of your back. It will help to strengthen the core if you're able to sit forward of the chair a bit. Keep the foot flexed. Take the leg out to the side. Imagine you're doing those fire hydrant exercises if you were on your hands and knees and just lifted a leg out to the side. Okay, so we can do so many things in the chair that create the same intention of the postures that we're trying to do in other positions. All right, so let's just do one more here and then come back to center. All right, so we've stretched the calf, we've done the inner and outer thigh. Now we're going to do what's called a sit-stand, and this is something that fitness professionals will do to just check where you are in your fitness level. And it's also a way to maintain independence for as long as possible. So with sit-stand, what we want to do is first try the as-if. So as-if is imagining that you are going to stand, but not actually standing, but recruiting all those muscles and noticing the muscles that you've recruited in order to stand. So we're going to use a block and place it between the thighs in whatever way is most comfortable for you. I like to have my feet a little bit further apart when I do sit-stand. When I squeeze the thighs toward each other, that sends a chain of messages to my core to engage as well. So I'm going to squeeze the block toward the midline, get the core engaged, press the feet down into the earth, and use that to help me lengthen my spine. Hinge forward, nose over toes, keeping the spine long and tall. Now I'm hinging from the hip crease so that the spine doesn't round. As you can see, the spine stays long and tall, the nose are over toes. And then we will come to standing by either pressing the hands into the side of the chair to begin to lift upward, as if first, right? So we're doing all of this, squeezing the block, engaging the core, hinging forward, nose over toes, press the feet into the earth, and imagine you're going to stand. And see what muscles you need to recruit, and really engage each of those before you go to stand. Now, if that's where you are today, continue doing the as-if, but if you're able, with either pressing the hands into the back of the chair or onto the thighs, we'll go ahead and give that a try. So squeeze the block, press the feet into the earth, lengthen the spine, hinge forward, nose over toes, press the hands into the thighs, and come to standing. You did it! Now shift your weight to the heels of the feet. Start to send the sitting bones back, bending at the knees, and we're going to sit back down with control without a plop, okay? Now you can continue doing it by holding on to the side as if, holding on to the side of the chair, pressing the hands into the thighs, or seeing if it's possible to take the hands over the chest. All right, so press the feet into the earth, squeeze the block, nose over toes, and come to standing. Shift the weight to the heels of the feet, start to bend the knees, send the sitting bones back, and sit down without a plop. Another advancement is to take the arms out to the side. All right, plug the head of the arm bones into the shoulder to engage the back body as well. Press the feet into the earth, hinge forward, keep that core engaged, press the feet into the earth, and come to standing. Shift the weight to the heels of the feet, send the sitting bones back, sit down without a plop. Another way is to bring the arms forward, creating more leverage. Press the feet into the earth, squeeze the block. Come to standing. Shift the weight to the heels of the feet, send the sitting bones back. Some of my students like to scoop themselves up. So they create a little bit of momentum with the arms, scooping themselves up. Can you pick which one that you like best and do 3 more sit stands, engaging and being mindful? Good. And once you get up to the top, stay there. Turn your block around so that your Feet can be hip distance apart. We'll come to mountain pose. So with the feet facing forward, the knees facing forward, squeeze the block. That's going to help to engage the core. Roll the shoulders back and slide the sides of the throat back. Slide the ears over the shoulders. Your mountain pose. With that strong core and all that engagement, spread the fingers, engage the muscles of the arms, reach the arms to your level of comfort. It may be staying at goalpost, it may be coming out to a T or a V, or if the arms are up or in line with the ears, then see if that's available as well. Take a full breath in, keeping the core strong and engaged, and then lower the arms back down. With the breath, inhale, reach the arms overhead. Keep squeezing the block toward the midline. Keep that core strong and engaged. Arms stay active. Inhale, arms up overhead, palms together, and lower the hands down to the heart. Now keep squeezing the block, strengthening the muscles of the inner thigh. So we're squeezing, 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 and release. This is just another way to work those inner thighs. Typically our inner thighs are much weaker than our outer thighs, so we're doing a little bit more of these to strengthen that vastus medialis, inner thigh muscle. Okay, and then squeeze one more time. Do as many of these as you feel comfortable with. Keep squeezing, 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 and release. Bring the hands to the heart, and we're going to do chair pose here to strengthen now the thighs. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Keep squeezing the block, and then shift your weight to the heels of your feet. Your toes are light. Hinge forward with a nice straight spine, quarter fold. Do not arch your lower back. Lengthen your tailbone toward the heels. With your weight shifted towards your heels, start to send your sitting bones back, bending at the knees, keeping the head and heart lifted, and the hands at the heart space. The weight is still on the heels of the feet. The lower spine is not arched, tailbones pointing toward the heels. Press the feet into the earth, straighten the knees, keep squeezing the block. Do that again, or take the arms out to the side for more leverage. Plug the head of the arm bones into the shoulder. Shift weight to the heels of the feet. Keep the spine long, hinging from the hip. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Eye gaze is in front. Don't be looking up at the monitor. Full breath in, full breath out. Then press the feet into the earth and come back to standing. Lower the arms down. Hands can stay at the heart, out to the side, or reach the arms in front of you. Plug the head of the arm bone into the shoulder to engage the back body as well. Shift the weight to the heels of the feet. Hinge forward, a quarter fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, lower down into your chair posture. You've got the chair behind you in case you need it. Let go of the stories. Eye gaze is in front, not looking up at the monitor. Take another breath in, straighten the legs, reach the arms overhead. Last option, hands at the heart, out to the side, in front, or reach the arms all the way up overhead. Shift the weight to the heels of the feet, sink the hips. Eye gaze is looking diagonally in front of you. Watch that lower back, not crunching the lower back. Keep that core strongly engaged. Tailbone reaches toward the heels. Press the feet into the earth. Come to standing. Beautiful. Release the block. Okay, now to work the outer thighs a little bit more. I'm going to turn sideways. All right, so we're standing in Tadasana, facing the chair, or holding on one hand to a wall. We want to work the inner and outer thigh again. All right, so shift the weight to the right. Send the left foot out to the side using the glute muscle and the outer hip. Take that leg out to the side, lift, and then sweep it over the standing leg using the inner thigh. So it looks like crossing over the midline. And then again, take the leg out to the side, squeeze the gluteus medius and the outer thigh, and then cross the leg over the midline. Taking the leg out to the side with control, not swinging, but we're lifting and pressing, really taking our awareness to these muscles. Not rushing. You can take your arm out to the side and cross it over. That'll give you a little twofer there. Keep the foot flexed, toes lifted and spread. Now this is your homework. When you're standing at the kitchen counter, just think about abducting and adducting. All right, then we'll go to the other side. Same thing. Taking the leg out to the side, mindfully crossing over in the midline. Out to the side and mindfully crossing. Good. See if you can build up to 3 sets of 8, taking your time, not rushing through anything, feeling that strength in the outer hip, the outer thigh, the inner thigh. Good. A few more, taking it out. Arm can move with it. Good. Opposite arm leg movement if you're doing it like me, or same side. And then shake it out. All right. Next we're going to move from a warrior 1. That's going to help to strengthen the thighs and stretch out through the lower calf as well. So hands start on the hips. We're going to take that right foot and turn it 45 degrees out to the diagonal. And step the left foot forward on a wide base of support. All right, as deep as it feels, so you're holding on to the chair or the wall if you need it. All right, squeeze the back right glute and let that energy go down that back leg as you lift the thigh bone up toward the sky and press the pinky toe side of the foot into the earth. Take a gentle bend to the knee so the knee stacks over the ankle, and look down to make sure that the kneecap is squared over top of the foot, not in or out too far. It should be just in line with the top of the foot. And see how my feet are on a wide base of support. All right, isometrically take your legs away from each other. So you're squeezing that back right glute, sending that leg back, pressing the front shin forward. So you're scissoring the legs away. Reach the arms up overhead or hold on to the chair should you need to, facing forward. Draw that belly in and up, bend the elbows, roll the shoulders back to plug the head of the arm bone in, lift up through the thoracic spine. Don't arch the lower back. Breathing in, breathing out, holding this here as you isometrically scissors those legs away from each other. Keep it strong, keep it stable. One more breath, reach the arms up overhead, lower the hands down, step the back foot forward about a half a foot so your feet are still hip distance apart. All 10 toes are facing forward. Take your awareness to your left hip crease, hand in the left hip crease, send that left hip crease back, lengthen up through the spine and hinge forward over your front thigh so you're in pyramid pose, stretching out through the back of the hamstring. We need to lengthen that which is too tight and strengthen that which is too weak. So this is where we're lengthening that tight hamstring. Keep pressing the back, this front left hip crease back. All 10 toes are facing forward, weights balanced on both sides. Draw that belly in and up, keep the core engaged. One more breath here. Lift back up, full breath in, and exhale, hinge forward over that thigh again. Your hands can be on the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, or if you have blocks on either side, you can reach for the blocks as well. Remember, it takes 10 to 20 or 20 to 30 seconds for your body to recognize a good stretch. And then lift back up and bring the back foot forward. Shake it out. Walk to the back of the mat. And now we're going to take our left toes 45 degrees, hands to the hips, soften the knees, step the right foot forward. So I'm practically on both edges of the mat. Squeeze the back left glute, lift the back thigh bone up toward the sky, bear some weight on the pinky toe side of the foot. Take a gentle bend to the front knee stacks over ankle, knee is in line with the top of the foot, and hands rest onto the chair. Isometrically scissors your legs away from each other, strong and stable. Reach one or both arms up overhead, get long and tall, draw that belly in and up, bend at the elbows, roll the shoulders back, lift up through your heart space. Everything is working here. Core is engaged, back body is engaged, shoulder blades draw toward each other, legs are isometrically scissoring away from each other. You're active and engaged here, not just going through the motions. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, straighten the front knee, lower the arms down, Step the back foot forward. Awareness to the right hip crease, send the right hip crease back. Hinge forward from the hip, keep the spine long and tall. Hands reach for the back of the chair, the seat of the chair, or the blocks. Feel that stretch in that right front hamstring as you attempt to balance weight on both feet. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale as you lift back up using that core strength. Exhale, hinge forward again. Feel that wonderful stretch from where the hamstring attaches to the sitting bone all the way down the front of the thigh. Front body comes toward the back body. Keep the core strong and engaged. See if you can use your core strength to lift back up and send the back foot forward. Shift your weight. Okay, good. Now this next one, I'm going to ask that you let go of your ego and really pay attention to what your body is able to do today. I'm going to show you what the full expression of the pose looks like, and then I'm going to break it down for you so that you can build up to that. All right, normally what we would do is have a chair on one side with the legs, two of the legs on the mat, and I'm in between the wall and the chair for safety. All right, but I'm going to move the chair so that you can see what it looks like without obstruction. Hand is on the hip. I'm going to reverse lunge, so I'm stepping my left foot back, squeezing that back left glute, and then sweeping the left knee up toward the chest and lifting up onto my front toes, my right toes. Stepping back again into reverse lunge, lifting the knee, lifting the front heel. All right, so it's getting everything. It's getting the strength and stretch of each leg of the calf. All right, and working the hip flexor, working the core, getting that extension and flexion of the knee. Now the way we break this down is hands on the hip, step the left foot back into lunge. Take a bend to that front knee stacks over ankle, squeeze the back glute, lift the back thigh bone up. Step forward, lift the knee up, lower the knee down, rise up on both toes, lower the heels. Step back, step forward, lift the knee, lower the knee, lift the heels, lower the heels. One more time. Reverse lunge, step back, step forward, come to a march, flexing that foot, lower the foot, lift both heels, lower the heels down. So I want you to pick which one felt better for you and do 3, 4, or 5 more of each of those while I set up for the other side. Remember to always safety first, be mindful, build things up. Things happened over a long chronic period of time, so they're going to take a long time to come back and get that strength and mobility and flexibility. Okay? All right, let's go to the other side. So you've got a chair on this side, right? Come to the front of the mat. I'm going to step the right foot back into lunge. Remember, a lunge is lifting up that back heel, squeezing the glute, lifting the thigh bone up, taking a bend to that front knee, shifting that shin bone forward. Everything is isometrically scissoring away from each other for this posture. And then stepping the back foot forward as you sweep the knee up toward the chest, lifting up the left heel and going back again. All right, so this would be, you can even include the arm if you want. You can sweep the arm forward. You can see if you've got that balance to maybe reach both arms up overhead. All right, but your option here is to step the back foot back, the right foot back, step the right foot forward. March with the right knee, lower the right knee, lift up both heels, lower the heel. Step the right foot back, step right foot forward. Lift right knee, lower right knee, lift heels, lower heels. And then you go ahead and do 3, 4, or 5 more. All right? Letting go of the ego, noticing. Can be a very good cardio workout as well. Getting that heart rate lifted. Now some people will say, this doesn't look like yoga. This looks like a workout. But we need to actually build strength to improve our yoga. So it's using the mindfulness of yoga, the breath work of yoga, the body awareness of yoga to build that strength so that it can make our yoga practice as beneficial as possible. All right, now that you've done that, our last posture for standing is called a slow squat, slow and shallow squat. So I'm going to use a little ball. You might want to use a big old pillow or one of those great big exercise balls. We're going to place it behind our back and lean into a wall. All right, so it's going to be on the lower back to start. Walk your feet about, for me it's about 2.5 feet forward. And I'm simply going to bring my hands onto my thighs or hold on to the wall wherever I feel more safe. Or if you have knee issues, you're going to have a chair on the affected side. So if my right knee or one of my sides is affected, I'm going to have the chair on that side to help support me to get back up without pain. So I'm going to slide my back down the ball, lower the knees into a chair seat. Make sure the knees are stacked over the ankles. Walk the feet forward if you need to get a little bit more knee alignment with the ankle. And you can isometrically send your shins forward to feel those hamstrings fire up, and then slowly straighten the knees, lifting back up. If that caused pain on my affected side, I'm going to use the hand to press into that chair to take the weight off of that affected side so I can still build up some strength as evenly as possible. So it's just a shallow, slow squat. All right, pressing my back into the ball, keeping the core engaged. And if the affected side is causing you any discomfort, then you can even bear a little bit more weight on the stronger side as you use that device to help lift you up. Okay? So building up to 3 sets of 8 of those as well. That is the standing series for the knee strengthening. So this is part 1. I will meet you on the mat for part 2. You're going to need a strap, a tennis ball, a mat, a blanket, and I really like having this ball to help support my back when I'll show you that later. Okay? So I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for joining part 1.